I mean, it's not like something's gonna happen midway through Fire Emblem 4 that will make me so upset that I don't play these games and I ended up playing through the first 4 Mario games and their All-Stars remake. Like, come on, that would never happen! I'm upset. I was playing Fire Emblem Genealogy the Holy War like I said I would. But then I hit that special moment in the game's story that just maybe not want to play anymore, maybe too sad. Now, I need to find something to quell my sorrows. Fuck it! I'll play the original Mario games. I'll get to finishing Genealogy the Holy War, I swear. I just need an emotional pick-me-up. But, more importantly, Super Mario Bros., released back in 1985 alongside the Nintendo Entertainment System, is the very game that saved the video game industry after the crash in 1983. Thanks, Atari! In case you don't know, Nintendo is Mario, Mario is Nintendo. There is no denying it. Spanning a legacy of 35 or so years, with every game since then being better than Ballon's Overworld. You see, despite growing up with these games, I never actually have beaten them. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I've had them since Mario's 25th anniversary, which would make me 6 years old, and that was 10 years ago. So the fact that I haven't beaten them, that's kind of messed up. So today, maybe for a little while, I'll be playing Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 3. Both in their NES forms and their SNES forms. It's gonna be a wild ride. In the very off chance you had no idea what Super Mario is, the Super Mario series is Nintendo's platformer, party, racing, and sports series, with over 250 mainline and spin-off games to its name. And with any one of them, you will find yourself having a good time. Mario started back in the arcade with Donkey Kong in 1981, followed by Mario Bros. In 1983. These were fun arcade titles and did very well for Nintendo. But in 1985, Nintendo decided to hang out in your living room, which caused many parents to freak out. Alongside the launch of the NES, you had Super Mario Bros., Duck Hunt, and some game for Rob the Robot. Here's the thing. Super Mario Bros. Sold over 40 million copies worldwide, and this game has seen countless re-releases over the years, including a remake on the SNES, which is very similar to how Book 1 in Fire Emblem 3 did it, whereas only the graphics and music were upgraded to the new engine. Since I enjoyed Book 1 of FE3, even though I somewhat disliked its NES original, I'm sure I'll love the 8 Mario games I tasked myself with in order to quell my sorrows. Well, without wasting any more time, let's begin with Super Mario Bros. The classic begins with deafening silence. You have 2 options here on the menu screen, single player and multiplayer. But if you wait a few seconds, a little demo plays showing you a bit of the first level. It's very similar to that of an arcade game demo, but the gameplay that is shown is absolutely terrible. We're off to a great start! The game itself isn't too long, lasting only an hour for me. Maybe that's because I'm not playing this game 100% blind, as I've played this game throughout my life. But I was shocked when I saw the time at the end of my recording. There are 32 levels across 8 worlds, with there being only 5 level types: ground, mushrooms, underwater, underground, and castle. Ground is the most basic and the one you'll see the most. Simple jumps, a few enemies, nothing too entirely complex. These are the ones where you'll probably either get a super mushroom, or if you already have one, a fire flower. Super Mushroom makes you big, and a Fire Flower grants you the ability to shoot fireballs. For mushroom levels, you basically have no solid ground underneath you. Flying enemies, platforms that fall when you're standing on them for too long, a lot of jumps. These will taste your patience and speed, similar to that of driving. Except you'll enjoy these over driving. Underwater is sucky, but that's just the status quo of water levels in platforming games. You stink like a rock unless you mash the A button to climb up the screen. You have exclusive enemies such as Chief and Bloopers, and they're the worst when they get in your way because they tend to block the narrow passages that are just there for some reason. These levels aren't bad, don't get me wrong, it's just They're slow, and thankfully there's only a few of them. Underground levels are basically ground, but covered in darkness with a black and blue color palette. I like these because the enemies match the color scheme. These levels are where you'll normally find warp zones, and I'll talk more about them in a minute. For the final type of levels, you have castle levels. They're always the fourth and final level of a world. Lava underneath you, moving bars of fire, and random bursts of fire as you approach King Koopa Bowser. These test your reflexes and ability to predict and adapt while also throwing a puzzle your way by forcing you to take the right path and making you loop infinitely until you get it. This does bring up a problem with the way the game works. As you may have noticed with modern platformers, lives are starting to become non-existent. Granted, with these classic games, I can rewind or make a save state, but if I were to genuinely play and my lives hit 0, that's it. Game over. Back to World 1-1. Also, any progress that I make to the goal in a level can't be reversed, meaning if you need to run jump but only have a third of a block to run jump, you won't be able to fix yourself. One may complain about this, but it's actually not too bad, as in a few levels there are areas called warp zones where you take a pipe to the specified world or close to the world you're in when you got game over. Or you take them because you don't want to play all the levels. We've all been there. Don't lie about it. These aren't hard to find, but getting them isn't exactly simple either. Christ, that's contradictory. After playing through most of the game, I get to the final level for the final showdown with Bowser. Bowser has been the boss of each world and has been incredibly easy. Just run, jump over him, and hit the axe. 7 out of 8 times, the Mushroom guy named Toad, for some bizarre reason, will be there and tell you that the princess is in another castle. 8th time's the charm, I guess. For the final fight, I legit started and didn't rush to jump over him and kill him. But then I did. I understand that I make these fights sound pathetic, but they really aren't. Well, no. These fights are dog shit. Yeah, they're really pathetic. After killing Bowser for the 8th time, we save Princess Toadstool, who is now known as Princess Peach, and she offers us a second quest. Not a fucking chance in hell. That I humbly decline. Well, that's enough of that. Let's move on to the SNES. Super Mario All-Stars, SNES remakes of the 4 NES Mario games. These really only change physics, speed, graphics, and music. They also include title cards for each level showing the enemies you'll see in the level. This game also adds a save feature, which is helpful. But all in all, the core game's the same. It was just updated to look, sound, and feel more modern for the time of release. Honestly, I like both versions and will honestly play whichever version I can. It's hard to pick one over the other, considering how similar they are. Well, I feel like suffering now. Maybe some more pain will let me feel happiness again. So, let's play Super Mario 2. Oh, this shit's not as confusing as Kingdom Hearts, isn't it? Alright, it's not that complicated, thank God. There are technically 2 Super Mario Bros. 2 games. One is a reskin of another game, and the other is a sequel that was made for only Masters and was released only in Japan. I'll be going by American term, so I'll be playing Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, then Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. This one is a doozy. Released for the Japanese Famicom in 1986, this game never came to America until Super Mario All-Stars, as Nintendo of America thought it was too hard. Nintendo of America, how are we 2 for 2 on not releasing games in America because they're too hard? This game is the Ghosts and Goblins of Mario games, or the Fire Emblem Guide of Mario games. The choice is yours. The point is, this game is hard, bullshit, and not much else different from its predecessor. Listen, hard is justified. This was made for the Mario Masters, that of which I am not. I will admit that, like Gaiden and Ghosts of Goblins, I just didn't simply beat this game. I really did try, but for God's sakes, after getting to World 3, then getting warped back to World 1 every single time I played, I just got frustrated. I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah, you heard that right. Those warp zones that warp you back to the start of the game. Because fuck my happiness. As well as springs that launch you out of the screen, And God forbid you are to play as Mario's brother Luigi. He's faster, jumps higher, and just feels overall uncontrollable. Listen, I'm a simple man. I prefer Luigi over Mario, but goddamn, do not touch Luigi in this game. Added to the power-up list is the poison mushroom. If you get it, it's like touching an enemy. You lose your power-up and or life. So I lied. It's a power down. I don't mind this as you can easily avoid it. What truly stings though is that you have hidden blocks you have to hit in order to progress through the level, and the amount of times I missed and brought the screen forward, it's abysmal. Since this is built in the previous game's engine, the screen just doesn't let you go back to the level, so one shot then death, really. So in terms of bullshit, this is the Fire Emblem Gaiden of the Super Mario series. But unlike Gaiden, I will play this again, and unlike Ghosts and Goblins, I will enjoy myself. It's just not going to happen today. I'm a terrible human being. No, not being a Mario game meant for masters. Now, whatever, my trial's over. Basically, I didn't beat Fire Emblem Gaiden. I didn't beat Lost Levels. I think we're all good. But now it's time for me to play the Mario game with turnips in it. I'm gonna have some mixed opinions on this one, won't I? Super Mario Bros. 2, aka Super Mario USA in Japan. It's also known as Doki Doki Panic. Nintendo of America feared that Doki Doki Panic wouldn't sell well, so they remade it with Mario sprites. Being the second game in the Nintendo beloved franchise was a weird thing at the time. Zelda 2, Metroid 2, Kid Icarus 2, Castlevania 2, with the weirdest of the bunch being Super Mario Bros. 2. Instead of jumping and killing enemies by landing on them, you have to pick them up and throw them at enemies, or pick up a vegetable from the ground and throw it to hit the enemies. These throws go at a set angle, which isn't too hard to learn. It's just jumping on them would have worked too. The most awkward feeling you'll get is the first time you jump on an enemy and they don't die. After playing Mario 1 and Lost Levels back to back, I jumped on an enemy and just awkwardly stood there forgetting that I was supposed to pick them up and throw them. Each world has 3 levels, while the last world has 2 levels, giving you a total of 20 levels. In each world, there is a boss fight. You usually have to throw something at them. World 1's boss is simple, just bomb the ride with sunglasses, while World 4 asks you to throw things at this fire thing that flies around and is really damn hard to hit. In levels, you'll find these potions, and when they're thrown, a door appears and takes you to a silhouette of the screen you're on. Depending on where you do it, you can get coins and an extra hit point. If you have coins at the end of the level, you get the chance to spin a slot machine for more lives. You also have these vases that you go into to get keys to open doors. Since you can miss these, the screen lock of the first 2 games is gone, so you don't have to die for missing them. Thank God! I've missed an important part though. Before each level, you have a choice between 4 characters: Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Peach. Mario is the all-around character. He jumps and runs normally. Luigi has low traction and jumps higher, and was also usually my character of choice. Toad is all speed and no jump. And Peach? She floats and is the slowest character. That's all there is to her. Each character can be used to beat any level, but in order to get some of the secrets, you'll need a certain character for a certain level. All the characters do have a shared ability called a super jump. If you hold down for a few seconds, you'll begin to glow. Once you jump, you go higher than normal. Okay, it's nothing too special, but instead of going to the right every time, sometimes you go to the left and other times go up. Yay. Very similar to the other 2 games, you can skip worlds. They're supposed to be hard to find, but they weren't. Hell, I did the one in World 1 by accident, and then in World 5 I was playing as Luigi and just assumed correctly. This game isn't hard by any means, and it isn't the Mario game we know and love, but the fact that this one is different, it's interesting. At the end though, it's revealed that this whole game was a dream. Good, because I didn't want this to be canon. Well, you see, for the All-Star variant of this game, I got nothing. I really got nothing. I mean, the physics aren't as slippery, it looks better, the music sounds better. I'm really mixed on this one. I mean, there's not really much to talk about because they just don't change that much. I mean, how the hell am I supposed to talk about all the differences when the only differences are graphical and physics-wise? It doesn't change much of the level design. Hell, it doesn't change anything at all. They're exactly the same. These two games are almost identical. Yeah. I got nothing else to add. I am glad, though, that Super Mario Bros. 3 is back to normal and nothing like Super Mario Bros. 2. Let's finish this blasted game so I can go and finish Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War. Hopefully Mario 3 is good. Damn me to hell indeed. I love this game. More powers, more jumps, more wow. This is just, it's awesome. This game introduced many things that are still in the series today. The Genealogy Leaf, the Koopalings, different world themes, and boom boom. On top of chain chomps, these fire things, and the goddamn sun. There were so many new enemies and idea that I am still shocked that this game was originally released on the NES. Your goal this time is to go around and restore the 7 kings back to their normal selves after the Koopalings turn them into different animals, while you're also going to be saving Princess Peach at the end. It's typical Mario crap, nothing really new to see, except I'm about to list off all the new things. So here we go! Desert levels, big enemies, airship levels, all scrollers, go swimming with a frog suit, fly as a raccoon, hammer suit, warp whistle, world map, an angry sun, Brooks has enemies, Boom Boom, Iggy, Lemmy, Roy, Morton, Wendy, Ludwig, Larry, Deadly Disco, gambling for more lives, quick enemy fight, 2-player Mario Bros. The battle for domination, whatever the fuck this shit is, an inventory system, RNG cards at the end of the level, facing into the background, boots that jump on spikes, a cloud to skip a level, the P-meter, P-wing, jumping plants, and I'm sure I missed some things like being able to turn into stone when into Nukies too. But holy hell, there are so many things they added to the Mario formula. It's amazing. My favorite level would have to be 4-6, as all the enemies are huge, but there are doors they can enter and they make the enemies normal size. It's simplistic, but I find it cool. It always makes me smile. And you know what? Super Mario Bros. Felt closer to that of an arcade game, while Super Mario Bros. 3 feels closer to an adventure. I like that distinction, and it really makes the whole experience a joy to go through, especially with a friend. I played the NES version of Mario Bros. 3 alone, but then I asked a friend to play, and we had a blast playing through the All-Stars version of 3. Although, I will admit, when playing with a friend, you may not get much done, just fight the whole time for who has to play that level you both hate. But that's okay, because it's just simple, dumb fun. I think I see what I was missing from these games, a friend. Being lucky to have one who was willing to play with my shit and absolutely terrible mastery of Mario made the experience that much more fun. These games shine when you really have a friend, and that's where I believe the lost levels and Mario 2 fails. In those I can only play alone, but in 1 and 3, I have the ability to have a friend, and that's what makes the whole experience that much better. In regards to the All-Stars version of this game, you know what? I was maybe too hard on All-Stars. Bringing these 4 fun games over to the Super Nintendo bundled as a package was probably the greatest thing that Nintendo has done at the time. The fact that they're all updated to fame with the status quo games at the time showed to the world that Nintendo, its developers, and even old and new fans really cared about these games and that they're really something unique. Super Mario All-Stars and their original games are a great way to get into video games or to simply enjoy yourself for a weekend. Something that I miss from the past is that games were allowed to just be games. Just simple and fun titles, not needing some grand story with morals or some crap like that. Yes, we did have games like that at the time, but in reality, when I go back to play classic games, I'd rather play Super Mario World over Final Fantasy VI if I were to pick a game on the Super Nintendo. That's one of the reasons why I love these games. I may dislike platformers as I find them not that fun or too basic or something like that, but it will always be thanks to the Mario series that I got into things like Zelda and Fire Emblem. Hell, I've completed Super Mario Galaxy 2 to 100% before, and I plan on doing it again sometime soon. Mario games just have a special place in my heart that brings so much joy to me when I play them. No matter which game it is, there's always a smile on my face. God, I needed that. You know, it was fun to revisit the Mario franchise and the Zelda franchise. I mean, I never completed those classic games and I always loved them, so I'm glad I did. But now, I have to move on. We have to face the inevitable, and I have to move on with my Fire Emblem journey. So, next time, I'll be playing Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War as Mikpool, Ratio 776. This could be a real hoot. So until then, I'm NoctaRhys, and take care.